Hi, I'm Jonathan Weinberg. Today I'm going to talk about a new pen that I just got. It is the latest Peter Draws Peter pen. It's called the Peter Plume. And if you've been following his pens, I think this is the sixth of all of the various customized pens. He has been doing this for around 2 years, working with Narwhal, which of course changed the spelling of their name to Nahvalur is what it looks like, but it's still supposed to be pronounced Narwhal, and Goldspot pens. And I started collecting them I think after the second version because I didn't even know about the first version. It was too late.
Look at this. How's the lighting? Tell me you can see what that says.
Um, the thing to say about it, I mean, I think probably some people may be frustrated in the sense that maybe they thought, well, there was just going to be one, and then there was another one, and there was another one. But I have to say that that's how way he makes his living, and it's in the process of collecting. It's a little bit like Beanie Babies, but the thing that is really cool about his pens is that they're really quite affordable. There were a lot of custom pens and different ways in which manufacturers try to create value by making limited editions. They tend to sell their pens for hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Really, Narval only sort of really adds a premium, maybe of $10, $20 to the price of the pen. And then usually there's something that gives it value. They're numbered, or they all come in wonderful box that Peter Draws creates. And so I thought it was a good opportunity to not only to talk about the newest pen, which I think is really pretty, um, and this time comes with a little notebook that of course I won't use because I want to keep it in a collectible mint way, but you could use this little notebook with one of his amazing doodles on it. But I thought it would be an opportunity to go over my collection and sort of, do a recap of the evolution of the Peter Pen Draws pen. Um, Now, for those of you who don't know it, uh, I always have to look up exactly how you say his name. His real name is Peter Deligdisch, but he goes by Peter Draws, and he's probably, I think he is, the most popular fountain pen vlogger out there. I mean, basically, he's a fountain pen artist who draws on YouTube, but and the drawing is the main thing, but he also reviews pens and pencils and drawing stuff. And one of the cool things in the last year or so, he's been talking a lot about going to art school, which is kind of cool because here he is. He's a very successful artist, I think, um, but he feels that he needs more of a level of training, and I think wants to expand the way he does his work, I think particularly to painting. And so if you can watch his vlog and you can sort of follow his progress through his art classes, etc., etc. He also, when he draws, he talks about his feelings and emotions and things and thoughts. So it's not really just about fountain pens. It's almost kind of meditative, and I think a lot of people who watch it enjoy just his kind of stream of consciousness and his and what it's like to sort of follow his life, which is very different from the kinds of things that I'm doing or other pen reviewers are doing. So I strongly recommend his channel. And on the other hand, of course, there is a lot of selling that goes on in order for him to make his living, and he advertises companies, and I think a lot of the things that he reviews he gets for free. So just keep this in mind. I don't get any pens for free so far, and I don't have any connection to Goldspot Pens or Peter Draws. Um, the thing that does support this channel for me is if you is subscribing. So if you enjoy my ramblings about pens, please subscribe. So, the pen, the Peter Draws pen. Well, it comes in this box. And you open the box. Of course, it won't open. No, now it's opening. And you see the pen here. Now, in this case, and I think it is the, well, it depends on how you count, but it's sort of the 6th version. What we have is a demonstrator pen and a beautiful Peter Draws Drawing is on the outside of the pen. It's a piston filler, clear painted pen. It is, I think, in form and function not unlike Narwhal's kind of original fountain pen that they make, that might be, I think, $60, and this pen, I think, retails for $70. And as I say, it's a very nice piston filler. You can get it in, you know, extra fine, fine, broad, and stub. This is a stub, actually, which I think is very nice. Now, in this case, the pen is not numbered. There's no number edition. What's different about it, it has a black clip, which is different from the other pens, the typical Narwhal sword clip. It has a little black finial on the top, and but it is not numbered. And the other thing that is different from some of the earlier pens, it doesn't have Peter Draws' signature on the cap. And in the box, it doesn't come with a Peter Draws signature either. He didn't sign, in some of the early editions, he signs a little drawing, print of a little drawing, and you get that. But you do get this little booklet, which is, I suppose you're supposed to sketch in it or write in it. It's gridded, and you know, this is this is not so great. This is not something that I could live without this, and I don't know, I wouldn't want to draw in it. It's too small really for a sketchbook. So you know, it's another way to make the particular pen different. But what I think is really wonderful is the way in which he's drawn onto this pen this kind of wonderful doodle.
This is CNN Breaking News.
I have to interrupt this review to tell you something that just happened. After I'd finished doing the whole review that you're watching, I went to clean the pen, and guess what happened? All of the beautiful black ink on the outside came off. I called Goldspot Pen, and they said yes, unfortunately a batch of the pens were made and this happens. They didn't know which pens they'd sent out had the problem or didn't have the problem, and of course they would send me a new one immediately upon getting the old one back, where this problem wouldn't occur. It reminds me of a scene in the movie Bean when he wipes off the image of Whistler's mother. From the painting. When it was happening in the sink, I was just horrified, and thought maybe I had somehow used the wrong water or something. It actually looks kind of beautiful this way, but of course you can't really make out the drawing as well. I could see that there could be a design like this that would work well. Having actually this happen made me realize that I'd left certain things out of the review, and I will add them here. One is that the pen posts, all of these pens post, Narwhal pens similar to those posts, but the problem is the way they're designed is that even though they post, when they're posted, it is quite easy to turn the piston knob, which would let ink out. So I do not recommend posting it. Other pen manufacturers who make similar kinds of pens like TWSBI create design it so that when it posts, it doesn't turn the piston, and that is something that I think Narwhal should consider doing. The other thing I forgot to mention is that it uses a number 6 size nib, which is removable, and it is like a Jovo nib, but I believe Narwhal makes their own nibs. So you can remove the nib this way, it has a housing that is similar to the Jovo nib kind of housing. I'm not sure if a Jovo nib would in fact fit. The housing would fit. I'm sure if you remove this nib, you could put in another number 6 nib if you wanted to. It comes with a little wrench like TWSBI pen, so you can, I'm not going to do that here, but you can take the whole pen apart to clean. But it's very easy to clean because you can take the whole housing out and get water in that way, or you can take the whole pen apart. You can take the pen apart to put silicone grease on it. Doesn't come with silicone grease the way TWSBI pens do, but any pen lover, it's an easy thing to get. So I think, you know, Goldspot Pen does, I've dealt with them before, they have very good customer service. I trust them that they're going to get, make this good. And you could see how in the manufacturing, they could have a problem like this. You know, some of the first pens they make are fine, and then they print them all out, and then the only way they would find out that the other ones weren't good is if, you know, somebody washed the, tells them, the customer tells them, and they are immediately going to fix this problem. So the interesting thing is that from a collector's standpoint, you could argue that it might be a cool thing to keep this defective pen, because if Peter Draws becomes incredibly famous and fountain pens are still sometimes collectible, sometimes the flawed thing that nobody saves is the thing that is most valuable. The problem is you can, I don't know if you can see this, but you know, it's not, the ink isn't, the paint doesn't come off totally. There are places where it's still on there. So, and also you can't really see the drawing this way. I mean, it's kind of interesting, but the way it's sort of imprinted, you know, etched on the outside. But you know, it's really subtle this way. Of course, you get to see the ink better from a demonstrator point of view, but then you might as well just have a demonstrator pen. So, truth in advertising, and we will return to the regular scheduled program. Now, I think I've said this before, but I think it's very obvious that the great inspiration behind Peter Draws' work would be an artist like Keith Haring, who was famous for his kind of graffiti-like drawing, but also his ability to start in one corner of a space and just fill it with amazing images based on sort of images of babies and children, and often quite erotic stuff. Also, Keith Haring had a pop shop during his life and made all kinds of wonderful products, including a really, well, I think after he died, they made a fountain pen based on his drawings. A few different fountain pens, and here's one of them for you to look at. Here's the Keith Haring pen that I have. That's from the online company, which I think is a German company, and they have done, I think, at least one other Keith Haring pen. I don't know a lot about this pen. Even when it was made, I got it on eBay actually, and I haven't been able to find a lot about it on Google. But you can see how close it is in a certain way to what Peter Draws is doing. However, of course, it's not a transparent pen. Demonstrator has a little ink window here. It's quite nice. It's got a kind of rubbery texture to it that it's made out of. And of course, the Peter Draws pen is a demonstrator made out of acrylic resin. The first Peter pen that I have is the Peter Draws Peter Pen Signature edition pen. This is the same as the very first pen, as far as I know, in terms of the way it looks. In this kind of marbleized demonstrator, gray tone pen. Like all of them, it's a piston filler, and it's the piston. This is actually the second version of the Peter Pen pens. This is the first one that I was able to get. It is the so-called signature edition. As far as I know, it is the same as the very first one, the same kind of demonstrator pen, Narwhal pen, with this gray clear acrylic and this kind of marble design. Each one is unique, but nowhere on it does it say Peter Pen, or on the band. It is numbered, so this is actually, I don't think you can really see this, but on the end cap there's a numbering, and it's 678 out of 1,000. So that makes it unique. And the other thing that made it different is it came with a little card that was signed by Peter, and you can see it has a drawing, so it's like a little print that comes with the pen, which comes in this box. That's the top. It says Peter Draws Narwhal Pens Signature Edition. So that's the way in which it was different from the very first pen, which I don't know if it was numbered, the first pen. I don't think so. But otherwise they would be very similar. Then we have the third version, which is the sky blue, and also is signed. Otherwise, very, very similar. No marking on it that says Peter Draws, but it also is numbered on the top. This one was 243 of 1,000. Here is the box top and the drawing on the box top, and you can see that it has a drawing here that is signed. So that was the third. This is the fourth. This is the ocean blue, and this is 86 out of 1,000. So it also comes with the signature card, and you can see that these are very similar. That is the original black and white, and that is the sky blue, so you can see how those compare. And this is the latest one, the demonstrator and the drawing. Now the fifth one came out in a double edition, as it were, a silver version and a gold version. Both of these versions are numbered. This gold version was on, there were only 100. This is number 10 of 100. Here's the silver version, which are 900 that were made. In the signature, there's no signature card, but the signature then moves to the cap. So it's engraved onto the cap, if you can see that. And so the gold is quite special. And then with this version, you get a sticker. So that's different. The other thing is different about this is that it's in a slightly smaller box that opens like this. And then you see in here that the branding has the new spelling of Narwhal, which looks like it should be pronounced Nahvalur, but actually I'm told it's pronounced Narwhal. So that is different in the fifth version. And the plume version is the sixth version, which is the demonstrator version. It comes in. So this is, in the sixth version is the plume version. It comes in this box. The sixth version is the demonstrator version, which is not numbered. It doesn't come with a signature card, but comes with the notebook. And you can see that it has a different clip. Other thing to see is the nibs on these are each different. Gold has gold nib, gold plated, silver is chrome plated, and the demonstrator version has a black tint to it. Another difference between the 5th version and the plume version is the clip. On the 5th version is either silver or gold, and you can see that there's the signature on the cap. In the demonstrator version, the clip is black and there is no signature engraved on the cap. Again, there is no number on the plume. It has a black finial on the top, while the earlier version has a gold or silver finial on the top. Okay, fill this, just stick it into the ink. This is Pilot Black. It holds a lot of ink. There you go. I usually manage to get ink on my fingers when I do this. And you can see there's a lot of ink sloshing around in there. So how does it write? This is the Peter Draws Pen, and it is the plume, and this is a stub nib, and this is Pilot Black ink. And it is quite wet, but for a stub, it is very, very smooth. And what's nice is Narwhal makes their own nibs. And it really is very, very nice. So you see, you go this way, it's thin, this way, it's thick, but it's just a very nice pen in terms of the way it writes, and also that it holds so much ink. If you like that, it's great. In the spirit of Peter Draws, I'm going to do some doodling. For some reason I feel like doodling snakes in this funny little doodle sketchbook that I use for when I'm sort of doing something like watching television or something like that. I have a tendency to sketch in this funny book. It has very sort of, it's made of Japanese paper, and as a result, it soaks up the ink a lot. But I think it's quite a little pretty little book, and I do these little doodles in it, which are sort of as close as I get to what Peter Draw does. Anyway, like sometimes drawing snakes. conclusion, I really like the Peter Draw pens, and I'll probably keep collecting them as long as they stay affordable. So thank you, and don't forget to subscribe.